Welcome back to the channel. Here you'll find the fastest updates on breaking news, shocking secrets, and dramatic predictions for times. The young and the restless. Who will betray whom? What secrets are about to be revealed? And what horrific tragedy awaits the characters in Genoa City? Subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us to discover the unmissable developments right now. Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most explosive updates from Genoa City. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the dramatic lives of our favorite characters. So grab a cup of coffee and let us explore the shocking twists and turns that are about to unfold. In Genoa City, trust is a fragile glass sculpture, easily shattered by the slightest tremor of disdain. The entire city is about to be shaken to its absolute core by a catastrophic event that begins with a single, devastating lie. Sally Spectra, a woman who has fought tooth and nail to build a secure life and a thriving business, is about to watch her world burn to the ground. The foundation of her relationship with Billy Abbott, once thought to be an unbreakable sanctuary, is violently fractured when the dark, suffocating secrets she has been harboring finally claw their way into the light. Sally's desperate attempt to shield Billy from the toxic warfare of the Newman family is about to backfire in the most spectacular and destructive way. What happens when the man you love realizes you have been sleeping next to him while weaving a complex web of lies? For weeks, Sally has been carrying the crushing weight of an immense corporate and personal conspiracy. Although she previously revealed fragments of the truth to Billy, she deliberately and meticulously delayed telling him the full, horrifying details of Adam Newman's manipulative offer and the severe, existential threat posed by Victor Newman. Victor's ruthless campaign to obliterate Spectre Charles and reclaim Newman Media has placed Sally in a psychological vice, squeezing the life out of her ambition. She believed that by withholding the extent of Victor's ruthlessness and Adam's insidious involvement, she was protecting Billy from his own worst, most destructive impulses. She knew that if Billy discovered the truth, his hatred for the Newmans would consume him, pulling them both into a war they could not possibly win. But in her desperate bid to maintain peace, Sally inadvertently planted a ticking time bomb beneath her own. How long can a woman hold back the tide of Victor Newman's wrath before she drowns in? The inevitable detonation occurs not with a loud explosion, but with a quiet, sickening realization. Billy Abbott, a man whose entire life has been defined by his relentless pursuit of truth and his explosive reactions to betrayal, finally uncovers the complete, unvarnished reality of Sally's deception. He does not hear it from the woman he loves. Instead, the devastating details of Adam's backroom dealings and Victor's lethal threats are revealed to him through an outside source, making the betrayal infinitely more agonizing. As the puzzle pieces snap into place, Billy's mind races through every conversation, every reassuring touch, and every promise of transparency that Sally had offered him over the past few weeks. The realization that she had looked him in the eyes and lied by omission shatters the fragile trust they had painstakingly built, leaving a gaping void of suspicion in its wake. Will Billy ever be able to look at Sally the same way again, or is this the final, fatal blow to their once beautiful romance? The aftermath of Billy's discovery is nothing short of apocalyptic. The profound sense of betrayal morphs instantly into a violent, unadulterated rage that consumes every ounce of his being, blinding him to reason and compassion. When he finally confronts Sally, the emotional destruction is absolute and terrifying to witness. He demands to know how she could conspire with his greatest enemies, how she could allow Adam Newman, a man who has repeatedly proven to be a toxic force in their lives, to dictate her actions while keeping her own fiancé completely in the dark. Sally's frantic, tearful explanations that she was only trying to protect him fall on deaf ears, sounding merely like the desperate excuses of a traitor. In Billy's eyes, her protection feels indistinguishable from treason, and the sanctuary of their home is transformed into a battleground of broken promises and shattered dreams. Where will Billy's uncontrollable fury take him next? And who will be caught in the crossfire of his... Billy's wrath cannot be contained within the walls of his own home. It demands a physical target, and that target is none other than Adam Newman. The historical bad blood between Billy and Adam has always been a simmering cauldron of resentment, but Sally's deception acts as the ultimate catalyst, causing it to boil over into a furious, violent confrontation. Billy tracks Adam down, his eyes burning with a manic intensity, and unleashes a barrage of venomous... He holds Adam personally responsible for manipulating Sally, for preying on her vulnerabilities, and for deliberately inserting himself into their relationship to cause maximum chaos. The confrontation is explosive, a terrifying display of Billy's unhinged anger as he vows to destroy Adam for daring to interfere with his fragile... Adam, caught off guard by the sheer magnitude of Billy's rage, realizes that his corporate games have awakened a sleeping monster. Can Adam survive the relentless onslaught of a man who feels he has absolutely nothing left to lose? However, Billy's blind, furious rampage is not limited to Adam. His thirst for vengeance puts him on a direct collision course with the most dangerous man in Genoa City, Victor Newman. Billy knows that Victor is the true architect of the pressure campaign against Sally, and his rage blinds him to the lethal consequences of challenging the Newman patriarch. As Billy begins to plot a reckless, high-stakes retaliation against Victor, the entire city holds its breath in anticipation of the carnage. The terrifying reality is that Billy's uncontrollable anger could inadvertently trigger a catastrophic tragedy, potentially turning Victor into a tragic figure if the Newman family is caught in the crossfire of Billy's sabotage. By poking the bear with such reckless abandon, Billy is inviting a level of retaliation that could wipe out his entire family and everything. Will Billy's desperate need for revenge cost him his life, or will it bring down the Newman empire in a blaze of chaotic glory? While Billy is out waging a destructive war against the Newmans, Sally is left alone to endure a silent, agonizing battle of her own. The continuous suffocating stress of the corporate war with Victor Newman, combined with the devastating emotional fallout of her shattered relationship with Billy, begins to take a severe and terrifying toll on her physical health. Her body, already pushed to the absolute limit by the physical demands of her pregnancy, begins to buckle under the immense psychological pressure. She experiences dizzy spells, agonizing cramps, and a profound bone-deep exhaustion that she can no longer ignore or explain away as normal pregnancy. The relentless anxiety of losing her business and the man she loves has created a highly toxic environment for the fragile life growing inside her. As the physical symptoms escalate into a terrifying reality, a dark, paralyzing dread begins to creep into Sally's mind. Is her body failing her? And what does this mean for the innocent life she is desperately trying to... The terrifying reality of her condition becomes undeniable during what was supposed to be a routine. As the doctor examines her, the atmosphere in the sterile hospital room shifts from clinical routine to urgent, heart-stopping. The medical team discovers severe, life-threatening complications that directly jeopardize the survival of Sally's unborn child. The diagnosis is a crushing blow, a medical nightmare that immediately classifies her pregnancy as incredibly high risk and requires emergency. The doctors gently but firmly inform her that the immense stress she has been enduring has severely compromised the baby's development, placing her on the immediate precipice of losing her second child. The monitors beep with an alarming urgency, and the sterile white walls of the hospital seem to close in on Sally as she struggles to process the horrifying. How can she possibly fight a medical crisis of this magnitude when her emotional world is already in complete and utter ruins? For Sally, this terrifying medical emergency is not just a present danger. It is a violent, agonizing resurrection of her darkest past. The moment the doctor utters the words, "severe complications," Sally is immediately and violently pulled back to the devastating loss of her first daughter, Ava Hope Newman. The ghost of Ava haunts every corner of the hospital room, filling Sally's mind with the agonizing memories of the grief, the emptiness, and the profound despair she felt when she lost her baby with Adam. The sheer, unadulterated terror of history repeating itself is enough to break her spirit entirely, leaving her sobbing uncontrollably. She is paralyzed by the fear that she is cursed, that she is destined to endure the unimaginable pain of burying another innocent. The psychological torment is almost as lethal as the physical complications, pushing Sally to the absolute brink of a complete mental breakdown. Will the haunting memories of Ava destroy Sally's will to fight, or will they ignite a desperate primal instinct to save this baby at all costs? When the horrifying news of Sally's medical crisis finally reaches Billy, his furious rage evaporates in an instant, replaced by an absolute paralyzing panic. The realization that his explosive anger and his abandonment of Sally in her moment of need may have directly contributed to this life-threatening situation hits him like a physical blow to the chest. Billy rushes to Genoa City Memorial, his heart pounding with a desperate, frantic need to protect the woman he loves and the fragile child they created together. Standing by her hospital bed, watching her pale, exhausted form hooked up to relentless medical machines, Billy is consumed by a profound sense of guilt and helplessness. He vows to drop his vendetta against Adam and Victor, promising to dedicate every ounce of his energy to ensuring the survival of their baby and shielding Sally from any further harm. But as the monitors continue to beep their ominous warnings, Billy is forced to confront the terrifying possibility that his promises may have come too late. Can Billy's desperate love and sudden devotion reverse the physical damage caused by their toxic secrets and explosive fights? The tragic news of Sally's perilous condition does not only affect Billy, it sends massive emotional shockwaves through the heart of Adam Newman as well. Despite their bitter conflicts, the corporate manipulations, and the vicious physical confrontation with Billy, Adam is profoundly devastated when he learns that Sally is facing the exact same nightmare they endured together. The memory of losing Ava is a deep, shared wound that binds Adam and Sally forever, and watching her confront the possibility of a second, identical tragedy shatters Adam's usually stoic exterior. He feels an agonizing, helpless pain, knowing that the stress of his own corporate machinations and his father's ruthless war may have played a significant role in pushing Sally's body to the breaking point. Adam is torn between his lingering, unspoken love for Sally, his immense guilt over his actions, and his inability to comfort her without inciting Billy's wrath. Will Adam risk everything to offer his support to the woman who shares his deepest grief, or will he be forced to watch her suffer from afar? Inside the sterile confines of the intensive care unit, a fierce, unyielding battle for survival begins. Sally Spectra, despite being physically exhausted and emotionally traumatized by the betrayals of the past weeks, summons a primal, maternal strength from the very depths of her soul. She refuses to surrender to the darkness, refusing to let the ghost of Ava dictate the fate of the precious child currently fighting for life inside her womb. The medical team works around the clock, administering aggressive treatments and monitoring every microscopic change in the baby's vital signs as Sally prays for a miracle. She endures grueling medical procedures, paralyzing fear, and endless hours of agonizing uncertainty, driven solely by the fierce, uncompromising determination to bring this baby into the world alive. She fights not just against her failing body, but against the crushing weight of her own despair, transforming her hospital bed into an impenetrable fortress of hope. Can Sally's sheer willpower and fierce maternal instinct defy the grim medical odds stacked against her? As the days bleed into nights, the entire landscape of Genoa City seems to hold its breath, waiting for news from the hospital ward. Family and friends begin to gather, setting aside their bitter corporate rivalries and petty personal vendettas in the face of this profound human tragedy. Yet, the looming threat of Victor Newman's corporate war still casts a dark, ominous shadow over the fragile peace, waiting to strike the moment weakness is shown. The ultimate fate of Sally's unborn child remains precariously uncertain, hanging in the balance of modern medical science and a mother's sheer willpower. Furthermore, the shattered trust between Billy and Sally leaves their relationship in a state of profound ambiguity. Even if the baby miraculously survives, can their love withstand the toxic secrets and explosive rage that brought them to this terrifying precipice? As Sally continues her agonizing fight for life, the residents of Genoa City are left to ponder the devastating consequences of their ambitions and lies. Will this terrifying medical crisis ultimately unite a fractured family, or will it end in a heartbreaking tragedy that changes their lives forever?